Hola, hola, hey guys, welcome to our event. I'm Anna Caban, the brand ambassador for Contrology, and we're here for another amazing event featuring instructors, not in one country, not in two countries, but in 3 countries. So I'm really excited to have our Contrology workout for you, and we are connecting with the system. So we'll start in London today. We're gonna have Jayne O'Brien from Simply Pilates London starting us off on the reformer. And then we're going to travel over to Canada, where Carmen Lanteigne of Aligned Pilates will do a little, oh, excuse me, no, I'm wrong. We're going to San Diego first. There's a whole sequence to that. We're going to San Diego for Nicole. She'll be on the Cadillac, and she'll also bring in the neck stretcher. And then lastly, we will circle up to Canada for Carmen Lanteigne of Aligned Pilates. She will be on both the Ped-o-Pul and the Arm Chair. Now, as always, we have our esteemed guest here, our CEO and nice guy, Mr. Ken Endelman is in the house. Again, without him, none of this would have happened. And then we have Jay Grimes, our partner in crime, who, of course, without him, we would not be able to do this. So thank you all for being here. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, everybody.
Super excited. So we have had several hundred people sign up. I understand there are about 50 of you here live with us right now. So thanks for taking out the time on your Friday afternoon or evening like Jayne to join us. And I see Regina Santos is here. Hey. Anyway, so I'm really excited to kick this off. I do want to have a little housekeeping thing here. Now, when we while you're going through the workout or watching this, if you're just watching, you can start feeding us the questions that you would like to feed us. There's a Q&A button at the bottom. Feel free to message us with the questions that you want in the Q&A feature. And then when it comes to the end of the workout, we circle back to Contrology headquarters, virtual headquarters. We will go through those questions with you guys. And also, if you want to post now or later on social media, we always ask that you use your hashtag Contrology Crew. Okay, pretty simple, Contrology Crew. We'd love for you to use that to tag us, and you can tag also at contrology.bb on Instagram. So I say we get started. What do you think, guys? You ready? Let's do it. Okay, so we're going to head over to London with Jayne because it's becoming her bedtime and she wants to get this over with.
I'm going to get started.
So let's go to London. All right. Take it away, Jayne.
Okay, hi everyone. Jayne here from London, Simply Pilates. I'm going to take you through a reformer workout, and I think let's get started. So I'm going to head over to the reformer. And we're starting with footwork. I'm starting on 3 springs. You're welcome to be on 4 springs. So I'm going to lie myself down on the reformer and starting on my toes. So I've got my heels together, toes apart, heels lifted. I'm going to lengthen my spine out on the reformer and start to do 8 repetitions of each footwork position. As I'm pressing out, I'm trying to find more reach in my spine, more two-way stretch. I think I've got a couple more. And then we're going on to the arches. Really press the arches into the foot bar, and the same thing 8 times, pressing in and out. Really liking the firmness of the carriage underneath me on this Contrology reformer, that I can feel my spine on the carriage, and then up to the heels 8 times. In this foot position, I'm really trying to keep my heels, so keep your heels pressing in, the arches lifted. Keep pressing the feet into the foot bar. We've got one more. And then onto tendon stretch. So on the toes again, all the toes, lift the heels, press all the way out, get really long, and then lowering the heels underneath and lifting up 8 times. So be careful here not to let your heels drop under the bar. Reach and keep reaching your spine in the other direction. Good, and we've got 3 more. And then come all the way down. Okay, so we're going to lower the foot bar. I'm going to grab the handles and go into the 100. So I'm going to press into the arms and lift the legs simultaneously, and then stop pumping the arms. Breathing in for 5 pumps and breathing out. 10 repetitions. So really get the breathing going here. Find more reach into the straps. Keep the chest open. Keep deepening your center. I think I've got 4 more to go. Let's go 4 more. Good, keep getting longer. Last one. And come down. Okay, take the handles in one hand, bring yourself up and put 2 springs on. You may need to take some springs off, 2 springs in the middle, and we're going into overheads. Lower your headrest, and then we simultaneously bring the arms down, legs up and over, and then reach the legs as high as you can, and then control down into the carriage. We're doing 3 of these. 2 more, over, up, stretch the body, spine, and don't forget to press your arms down into the carriage, lift, roll the way down. Okay, into coordination, bend the knees, bend the arms, and press out, open, close, 3 repetitions. Really find the length in the legs, the length in the waist, and 1 more. Use the straps to press into. Come all the way up. And then coming up, I'm going to put this handles down for a second and take 1 spring off. And we're going into rowing series, but I'm skipping out rowing 1 and 2. We're going into 3, 4, 5, and 6. So start sitting tall, holding onto the handles, and then take the arms up and down, reach up, and then stretch out to the side. 2 more times, keep connecting your arms, your back to the straps, and then reach out to the side. 1 more time. Lift the waist. And now we're in rowing 4. We're going to rowing 4. Flex the feet, bend the arms, and reach the chest forward, reach the spine, and then all the way up. And then keep connecting to the straps as you come down. 2 more times, press forward, keep the shoulders in your back. This is a great preparation for the breaststroke exercise, which I'll be doing a little later. Reaching up and coming all the way down. Okay, crossing your legs. We're going to go into rowing 4, which is called shaving as well. Take your elbows as wide as you can, fingers and thumbs together, and then go ahead and press up and try and keep the elbows really wide to connect the upper arm into the back. Just 3 of these today. And then transition by crossing across the legs, bring the arms out to the side for the hug. We're going to press the arms forward and out 3 times. Try to keep the elbows lifted here and keep the arms, keep the straps connecting into your back. And then go ahead and put the handles down, step up. So we're keeping 1 spring on. We're going to get the box. So go and get your box, put it on the reformer, first long box, and then go ahead and lie face down on the box. Take hold of your straps and reach forward. Thumbs on the top, hands underneath. Get the body really long and then pull the straps. Try to bring the chest through the straps as you go. 2 more of these, we're doing 3. So here I'm feeling like trying to lengthen my waist. I love the pull of this Contrology reformer, really feel it connecting to my center. And now T pull. So you take the arms out to the side and then pull wide into the straps and back. 2 more there. I'm trying to use my whole body. So use your whole body to pull and lengthen in 2 directions and then come all the way back. All right, so step off the reformer, grab, hold on to the handles, add another spring on. We're going to backstroke. So hold the handles behind you and sit right on the edge of the reformer Bring the hands into the position you had for shaving. So hold the hands there, heels together. We're going to do 2 repetitions of each. We go up, out, and reaching forward, and then come back in again. One more time. Make it glide across like you're swimming, and 2 the other way. Keep the back round. Keep connecting into the straps. Okay, good. And then come up, come to the side, take a spring off, and we're going to teaser. So go a little further back, reach your arms behind you, stretch your body out, and then come up for the first teaser. So we're going to reach up, reach your arms as high as you can. Either hold the teaser there or lower the arms and lift the arms 3 times. So the challenge here is to keep the spine lifted and keep the legs reaching up as well. And then go ahead and roll down with control. And then the next one we're going to do is we're going to do some leg circles. We're just going to do 1 more, hold it there, and then circle the legs. So here I'm trying to use my lower body to stay connected, but I'm still reaching into the handles. Keep my center strong. And then all the way down with control. And back. Okay, stepping off the reformer. And now we're getting to the breaststroke. So this is a tough exercise, and most of the time you have a spot, but I don't have one. If you do, use it. If not, try it without. So we're going to lie down, knees just over the back. We've got 1 spring. So we're going to stretch forward and around 3 times. So we're going to kick 3 times and then reach forward. I'm going to try and reach forward and stretch all the way around. 2 more. I keep pressing up and to lift my chest. And 1 more. Whew. And reach, stretch, and off. Oh yeah, so that gets the heart rate going. I'm going to take the box back. So take your box back. We're going to the long stretch series. So you need the headrest up, put your mat on the headrest, bring the foot bar up, 2 outside springs, and we're going to do 3 repetitions of each. So hands on the foot bar, stand into the shoulder blocks, heels together, make a really long straight line, and then press in and out 3 times. Make sure you bring your chest right over the bar to use your back. So like pull straps, pull forward, and then come all the way down. So we're going into down stretch. Get the heels right into the shoulder blocks and come forward 3 times. So we're going to push down with the hips, lift the chest, keep pushing the hips down, find a 2-way stretch, and round and come up. So now we're going into the up stretch. So we're going to do 3 in each direction. Heels are up on the shoulder blocks, round the back. So we're doing 3 up stretch and 2 reverse up stretch. If you haven't done the reverse before, you can keep doing this one, or you can watch. So this one is tricky because the springs will want to push you forward. You've got to keep reaching through the lower body and using your back. We'll do 1 more. I'm trying to get as much length in each direction and keep pushing and lifting my chest and roll up. Now we're going to the elephant. So heels down, toes lifted, hips back, and 5 times. Yeah, keep reaching the heels down, lifting the waist, and then 1 leg back, 3 times, and then 3 times on the other side, keeping the round scoot shape in the spine. Then I'm step off the reformer and into long back stretch. So this is the most challenging one I find. Get your heels right into the shoulder blocks, lift the spine, and we're doing 2 each direction. The challenging bit is when you reach out to hold it out, you resist it in. And then the other way. Up, reach out, try and hold it, come in and up. Okay, so now we're on to stomach massage, bringing the mat forward. So I'm going to be on 3 springs. You're welcome to use 4 if you like. 3 suits me better for my body. So come as close to the front as you can. Put your feet up on the foot bar. Hold on under the carriage and lift the waist. So pull underneath the carriage and then 5 repetitions. Good. Keep deepening the center as you press with your feet into the foot bar. Keeping lifted and strong. And then hands back. So now you want to have 3 springs. And if you are struggling with this one, you might even go down to 2. So the secret is to push it in down into the shoulder blocks. Stay lifted in your waist. Not easy. And then take 1 spring off. So you have 2 springs now for reach. So we're going to stay tall as you can and 4 times. Staying lifted and reaching forward. And then add in a twist to that. Twist as far as you can and lift up super tall. And then 2 more. Keep resisting the spring as you come in. And then all the way in. Okay, so step off. Now we're going to do tendon stretch. So keeping 2 springs on. You can use a pad. I'm going to not use a pad today. Put the heels underneath the carriage. Push the hands into the foot bar. Get really round in your spine, looking towards the knees, and then press in and out, doing 5 repetitions. And up. Okay. Stepping off, and now we're into short box. So we're going to have the foot bar down, 2 springs. So you need your box again. Get your box. Headrest is down. The handles are off. And put the box on. And then, oh yes, the pole. You need a pole. And a mat. So step on, put your feet under the strap. And really stretch the feet under the strap. And I'm going to do 2 of each. So 2 round. I'm going to roll back, just go back as far as you feel comfortable. You go all the way like me. You want to. And then the second one I do, I'm going to stretch my upper back. That's where I need the stretch. So follow me if you want. If not, just to go where you feel comfortable. And then all the way up. So take hold of your pole. We're doing 2 each. Sit up tall. Keep pushing your feet under the strap. Lift up. And then side to side. 2 sets. Keep lifting. Make sure you don't sink on one side. And then twist and reach. So twist as far as you can around. Reach out and up. And again. I'm just going to do 2 more. So really finding the length. And then come down. All right, so let's do tree today. So take hold of the right leg, lift the waist, and then do 2 reaches forward. Take hold of the leg, and then roll back. So keep reaching the feet into the straps and up to the ceiling, and roll down. Just go as far as you are comfortable. Going down all the way, and then come up and sit up tall and stay round. And then this time, go down, and this time I'm going to take advantage of this 8-inch reformer and pull underneath to stretch my spine a little more, and then come all the way up, lift the waist, and then give your hip a little stretch. Let's go on to the other side. So pick up the leg, stretch it again, twice, take hold of the leg, reach the legs away as you roll back, and then roll all the way down or as far as you feel comfortable, and then all the way back up again, And this time, instead of pulling under the carriage, I'm going to stand my hands on the floor and practice for the high bridge, which I'm not doing today, and then come up and then stretch over and then come off. All right, so let's take the box back. And the pole. And now we're going to short spine. So foot bar stays down, 2 springs. You want to send these loops through the handles. And go ahead and lie down. Take hold of the straps and put them in your feet simultaneously if you can, and bring your heels together, toes apart. 2 repetitions of 3. Now we're doing 3 repetitions. So press out and then lift straight away if you can, and keep connecting to the straps as you reach back. Don't let them go loose. Bend the knees, keep lifting the waist, and then roll down as far as you can, and then pull the heels to the seat. 2 more. I love the angle of this reformer, Contrology reformer. It really stretches me more than I felt before. It gives me a good stretch and connecting to my center. Roll down and pull in. 1 more. And again, I'm pressing my hands down as well. So I'm using my whole body, and then bend down and then roll all the way down and pull in. Okay, so take your straps off. We're going into semicircle. So you want to put your heels on the foot bar and reach yourself down and push your hands into the shoulder blocks. You're reaching in each direction. Lift your hips really high. And then we're going to do 2 repetitions of each. So roll all the way down so that your hips are in between the springs, and then press out halfway. And then keep pushing into the foot bar as you come up and then in. And then 1 more time, roll down. So to keep the carriage still, you've got to keep pressing your arms into the shoulder blocks and your feet into the foot bar the other way. I'm trying to keep my heels up as well. That's really good for my spine. Keep it moving. Stretch, roll down, come back. All right, so step off the reformer, and now we're going into snake and twist. So you want to put a pad on the corner of the reformer. Now, if you haven't done this exercise before, probably not a good time to do it now. Just watch and observe. If you have done it, join in. So we're going to do 2 snake and 1 twist. So put your foot on the corner of the foot bar, 1 hand on the shoulder block, 1 hand under the carriage, and then square the hips, put the foot in front and go. So start with the spine round, go tall, lengthen forward, lift up, and then 1 twist. So go halfway out and then twist hips down, look across the right shoulder, push up, then pull in and step off. Okay, and we have 2 sides, so we have to do this side as well. So stand on the corner, step up, foot in, square the hips, square the shoulders, and then reach out. Most important thing in this exercise is pushing your foot into the foot bar. You really use your lower body to do the work. You're holding, pushing up into the carriage as well. And then twist. So keep the carriage still as you can. Twist all the way around, push up, and come in. Okay, so we just have knee stretch series. We're coming to the end now. So 2 springs, 2 outside springs, headrest up, and we're ready. So get your heels into these shoulder pads. We do 5 of each. So 5 round. Ooh, that spring wasn't on. So round the spine, get the hips back, And go. Keep rounding, keep reaching, and then transition into arched without stopping. And then into knees off. So lift the knees, push out, keep stretching the back under you, push into the foot bar and come down. All right, so I've got, you put 3 springs on now, or the same springs that you did your footwork on. And we're doing running and pelvic lift. So the press out 10 times. So this one, it's a good place to check in with your body, check in your alignment, stay connected, stretch the legs. And then pelvic lift, roll up, press the arms down 5 times. Good, make it really stretchy. And then come all the way down. And then there we have it. That concludes the reformer workout. And now we're heading over to Nicole for the Cadillac workout.
Thank you, Jayne. That was great. So just for those watching, Jayne was doing a very dynamic workout. We've seen some comments there about the tempo. So that was a very fast pace. So if that wasn't, if you're not used to that, it's just an idea of another way that you can work out. But let's toss it over to Nicole, who's in San Diego, and she's going to show off the Cadillac and the neck stretcher. Thank you.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Jayne. That was amazing to watch. I loved how efficient she was with her reformer. So we really can get a full reformer in less than an hour. So on to the Cadillac. I'll be starting with the leg spring series. I will be using the standard Contrology springs that come with the Cadillac. This is appropriate for my height and size. I'm about 5 foot. And when you're deciding on what spring to choose, what's best for you, choose a spring that allows you to work without tension and allows you to feel a connection to your full back throughout your series. So lie down on your Cadillac. You should be a full arm's distance away from the poles and put the straps around the highest part of your arch. So you want to be reaching up into your poles, never pulling. And then engage your spring just slightly so that you can feel the length of your low back. So the reach up into the poles allows me to stretch my upper back through to the top of my head. And then the spring allows for an opposition, a stretch of my low back. So we're going to start with our leg, our circles. So stretch out and circle for 6. You're going to touch your heels in the middle. You're going to reach out into your spring as you circle. And then reverse. So I'm keeping my reach up into my poles and keeping the length of my low back as I circle around. And then hold the heels in the middle and pull them to you. So I feel like I've really figured out how to use my reformer and footwork with this series. That pull into you is so important. We're going to reach back out for walking. We're going to take 8 steps down to the table. These are brisk little steps. And do 3 sets. Push your heels down once you touch the table to reestablish that connection with your whole back. We'll go down for 1 more set. You really have to keep the connection through the whole foot, the toes, the heels. Glide right back up for 8. And then pull the heels together and pull them into you. Pressing right back out for your thigh beats. So we're going to open, close 8 times, reaching open and reaching closed. You do 8 counts, keeping your spring under control, and then pause and hold and lengthen for 8 counts. So while I'm here stretching, you have to keep a soft knee, soft ankle, find length throughout your spine. And then we'll do another set of beats for 8. And hold the heels together and stretch longer, hold and zip up the legs for 8 counts. We're trying to someday get the inner thighs all the way zipped up. Lots of reach into your poles, lots of reach into your spring. And then last set of 8. Really keep your spring under control. It'll force you to work your entire lower body and then hold for one last set of 8 counts. So I have to soften my knees to keep the connection to my back and reach and reach and reach, and then pull the legs back into you. Pressing right back out for your bicycle. So these should be big, full pedals. You want to really stand into your strap and ideally go all the way to the table and resist the spring as you return. So by keeping that full connection to the spring, you're working your whole back, all the length, all the width. Reversing for 6. And we'll hold and pull those legs back into us. The last exercise in this series is your big frog. So we'll go all the way to the table with the heels, press down. That down and that connection to the table helps me reestablish my reach up into the poles and then stand into it. And we're going to circle the legs up, around and up to touch at 45 and then pull them back in. So we do 3 of those. Continue to stretch through the waist. You reach and pull, and then we'll reverse. So keep on stretching that big toe away from you as you pull up through the middle. Reach out, around, push into the table as you pull back in. One more. Reach long, down, long legs, and then pull back in. Okay, on to airplane. Take a breather, catch your breath, and make sure my AirPods don't fall out. So we'll roll up first, bringing the knees to the shoulders. We're going to use the overhead exercise that you just saw Jayne demonstrate to help us with that. So if you did the overhead, you know how to lift your whole body up and get your heels right over your seat. And we're going to reach out and continue to lengthen all the way down. Your heels and hips ideally land at the same time. So we'll roll, lift, reach, and feel your whole feet, center, and back as you float down and pull back in. One more in this direction. The head and shoulders are going to support you, so you don't want to roll up onto your neck. I'm holding my head in one place and pressing my shoulders down to serve as a platform. And then in that way, you can lengthen your spine. Pull and roll. So we're going to reach out. Did I say we're reversing? Sorry if I didn't. We're going to reverse, reach up and pull down and roll. One more in this direction. So pushing out onto the table is really helpful. You use the down to help you use your whole back, and you need your whole back to get back up and pull the heels to you. Let's do one combo. We'll roll up, lift. I'm going to tap my heels at the bottom and then float right back up. And pull the knees to you and roll down your back. Okay, we'll take the leg springs off and come up. Chosen flying eagle next. You'll need the strap at the bottom of your Cadillac, pull it forward and place your ankles underneath. It won't hold you, it's not to hold you tight. It's not to keep your ankles strapped tightly to the Cadillac. It's just to remind you there's a down and an out. Okay, so you should be a full arm distance from your poles. You can hold on to the top of your strap, the middle, or anywhere on the strap really, or on the inside. Whatever helps you fly. So start nice and long on your stomach. I'm feeling nice and tall in my whole back. I'm going to press down, just like you do in your pole straps. The arms are going to float out to the side and behind you, and then bring them forward just like you do in T on the reformer. So it's a combination. I'm going to pull down And just like T and pull straps, you have to use your whole back. But I love that the arms float back and around. You'll lose tension, and you have to stay up there and lie forward. We'll reverse. So you'll pull the arms behind you, use the down to help the length of your whole back on the way in. So you really feel the whole shoulder blades working, the whole upper back to help you open the front. One more. Pull back, stay long through that lower body, and reach forward. Okay, from there, you can take the strap off your feet, and we'll move on to your shoulder roll down. So take the push through bar down. You'll undo the chain and attach your top spring. I have 2 clips on my spring because of my height. I'm about 5 foot. So you can do that if you're on the shorter side. That way you don't stress about losing your bar. So you should line it up with your poles and then lie flat. So I was just here a moment ago with my leg springs on. So imagine that reach into your spring. And then reaching up into your poles, that feeling always helps me feel wide through my upper back. I'm going to resist the bar as you bring it through and up. You're going to reach forward into your bar. This is just like semicircle. We saw Jayne do that beautifully. And this is a good place to practice that because you're not moving the table back. It's a lot less complicated with your body. I'm going to reach forward as much as I'm lifting up. Start with the right leg. It's going to reach straight up and then down and up. So the hips have to stay really connected and strong, and the legs should reach up. Should help you lengthen your low back. And we'll push into the bar as you roll down. So really enjoy this part, articulating down, pulling your back to the table, and then pulling the bar through. Do one more set. Resist the bar as you bring it through. And roll up. So right away, engaging through the hips and reaching, pushing the feet away from your center. And we'll start with the left side, reaching straight up. And right. And you should just feel suspended in space. You shouldn't really feel a whole bunch of leg work. Your back is lengthening out through the crown and through the tailbone as you reach forward into your bar and come down. Make sure you're well connected to the table and then pull and push. And then we'll bring the bar back through. You can take one foot off and then the other and come up. Then we'll push the bar all the way through for swan. So again, you'll line the push through bar up with the poles and turn over onto your stomach. So I'll do 2 preps. Some call it a baby swan and then 2 full swans. So start lengthen. And we'll bend and straighten the arms here 3 times to warm us up. Help us to connect with the bar. This is just like shaving on the reformer, which Jayne showed us. So on that third one, as you're extending the arms, pull the shoulder blades to the hips and go ahead and lengthen all the way up. And back down. One more of those. So as you bend the arms, keep the elbows lifted, slide the shoulder blades down, away from the reach into your bar. It helps you really pull your center in and up. And on the third one, go right up into that back bend. It helps me not use my shoulders. I don't feel my shoulders at all. I'm just able to bend my upper and middle back. And then if you care to join me for 2 full swans, we'll do those. Keep your legs together and down. So we're going to bring the bar behind us, lifting the elbows high. Our shoulder blades are on our back, sliding down as you bring the bar up. And you really need to push the bar away using your full back, all the way up. Stretch your chest forward, reach your sternum away from your toes, reaching in opposition and then come down. And use your back to pull the bar. If you use your arms, it doesn't feel very good. Nice and controlled all the way down. Do one more full set, elbows high. Everything is together. The body feels like it's in one straight line. Reach up and then try to pull your chest forward of your shoulders. Get a little extra stretch. And then coming down with control, diving forward, and then pushing the bar all the way through. And we'll come out of that. You can bend your legs, let the bar go, sit back on your heels for a counter stretch if you need. And then we'll take the bar, we'll unspring and put it back up. I just need to get a drink of water. Okay, onto this end of the Cadillac, we'll be using the rollback bar. So bring it through. Let's do chest expansion and your thigh stretch. So this is a great place to practice the chest expansion that you do on the reformer. You're not moving. And this pose really helped me figure out my hips. So on the reformer, you have the blocks, which are great, but sometimes I cheat and I'm not fully connected with my back. So here you cannot do that. So I imagine I have the shoulder blocks to get my hips somewhat in the right position. And then I use the bar in front of me, push into it to help the upper back. So this pull is going to help you with the up of your upper back. So you don't have to use your arms. We're going to pull with an inhale. You look to the right, to the left, all the way, look center, and then exhale, return. So pulling in, growing taller. From pushing the bar down, lifting my spine up, looking one way, the other, center. The bar also really helps me keep track of my hips. The forward and the up feel like a nice stretch. So you'll pull to the left, right, center, and return. One more, looking to the left first. Grow your tallest. Feel that energy stretch out through the top of your head and return. Okay, take a few steps back for your thigh stretch. So your body again will be in one piece here with your hips right over your knees, which is a lot of feet. And I'm pushing into the bar slightly just to find my setup. So pushing the bar away helps me connect my middle back to my low back, and I can get started from there. This is going to keep my back lifting up though. Such a nice stretch if you can keep your body in one piece. I find it a lot more enjoyable than the reformer. It's a good place to learn, develop strength, and then take it onto the reformer. Keep lengthening that upper back away from the reach down of your low back all the way to the top. So much feet. Okay, we'll let that bar or place that back. Okay, standing up for some fun trapeze work. You'll take the trapeze down and make sure you've got all the kinks out of it. You don't want any surprises. We'll be doing the hanging pull-ups. I have my stickies in place because I know where they need to be for me to land in the middle. There's no real recipe as to where these should go though. It really depends on your leg length and your proportions all around. So what you need to know is that you should be able to land in there and then not really move it. So I've got mine in place. I'm going to stand tall. So we'll be doing 3 sets of, there's 3 pull-ups. We'll be doing 3 sets. Okay, so we'll leap in to the middle and hang. So really let your low back open. It's a really nice stretch. And then we're going to use what we know from your shoulder roll down, your semicircle, to come up. You want to keep opening the low back, using that length of your whole backside from your shoulders to your heels to lift, and then find a big arch. It really feels different in the air. And we'll do 3 pull-ups. So I'm not using my arms, I'm just lifting my chest. And then we'll hang. So as I look at my feet, they look like they're standing on flat ground. We're gonna roll back up again. So find your nice tall position and then into your big arch. Keep that low back reaching away. And then 3 pull-ups here. So at this point, if you're working up to 3 sets, it's totally respectable to come out now, or you can join me for one last set of 3. We'll go up one last time, making the connection from my shoulder blades to my heels. One last big arch, and then 3 last pull-ups. We'll hang, and we'll hop out. It does take some time to build up to that, but it's also really fun. Let's put the trapeze away. We're going to end with a few exercises on the neck stretcher. So if you have a Contrology neck stretcher, grab it. We'll be using it with the leg springs. So I'm taking off my foot straps and connecting the neck stretcher to both leg springs. So from here, let's go ahead and do the round first. I'll save the best for last. I like the tall back for last. It's the best. Okay, so placing the strap around your forehead, I found that it should cover your eyebrows. And you don't want there to be a ton of slack. As soon as you start to move, you should engage the spring. Your legs are open the width of the mat as if you're doing your spine stretch forward. You're gonna grow tall. So the up happens, and then you're gonna have to find the down as you sit here, just like you do for the mat exercise. Then we're gonna round forward, and as soon as you start to round, it really challenges that down of your back. So pull the shoulder blades to your hips as you direct the crown. I'm sorry, the crown's right up here. And you're gonna go forward. Someday it'll go between your knees. So we'll go forward and pull those shoulders to your hips so you can maintain the down as you pull your center in and direct the crown between your knees. From here, you can really take your time and stack your middle back, or your low back first and then your middle back, and find that nice tall connection through that middle back and then the head last. So we'll do 2 more with the goal of the crown diving between the knees, kind of an up and over. And even though it seems like my arms are involved, my shoulders can really slide to my hips, which is rare for me, and then stack up. The shoulders really aren't inclined to lift. Pull forward, exhale everything, and inhale as you stack up. Okay, so we'll take that off, turn around. This is my favorite. You'll face your poles. The strap goes back around your head, right over your brow, and then secure it in the front. So again, your spine stretch forward position, all 10 toes are up. Lift tall, and we're gonna hinge back. And I have found this has helped the short box. That tall back, this has really made it just really simple for me. You're gonna lean back on the diagonal and feel your whole spine lengthen on that diagonal. And then take it nice and slow, resist your spring and lift more on the way up. And 2 more, building on that length. You can keep an eye on your feet this way, make sure they, all 10 toes, stay reaching up, the legs stay straight, and then lift all the way back up. Really lift out of your hips. One more time. Lengthening back and lengthening up. There you go. Your head's on your body. You're ready for your chair and your Ped-o-Pul.
Oh, there we go. Now can you hear me? Okay. And Carmen, I'll need you to unmute as well. Okay, we got it. We're all set. So we're going to head over to Canada. Thank you, Nicole. That was really fun. And actually, although our producer here was saying it looks like a torture device, that neck stretcher, I was also messaging her just how good it feels. You know, the little chat here. So no, it looked awesome. I was feeling all stretched out just watching you with the neck stretcher. So thank you very much. And Carmen, are you ready? You ready to hit it?
I am
Canada?
ready.
Let's do it. Off to Canada. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm Carmen. And how's it going, eh? I just had to get that in there. So we're going to now just work out. We just get to sit here. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to work out on the armchair. Now, the Contrology armchair, if you don't have one, don't fret it. If you have weights, you can use a set of 1 pound weights and you can go sit against the wall so you feel yourself up against the wall. You can even put yourself up on a little stepping stool so you feel up so your hips can open, and that way you've got some hand weights. That'll sort of mimic what we're trying to do here on the armchair. Now, with the Contrology armchair, which I love, it has these awesome grooves in the handles, and that really helps us to learn about connecting the whole hand all the way down into our back. So let's get started. So either sit against the wall or be sitting in your armchair. For the leg position, you can either bring your legs and connect them into the base of the chair. That will help you to get that feeling of lifted in and up. Or if that's a little awkward on the hip, just put your feet like so. Same thing if you're sitting on a stool against the wall, find that position. If you don't have a stool, you don't have a wall, just sit on the floor and get going with the hand weights in your hands. All right, we are going to take it into these circles. So if you notice in Jayne and Nicole, they were doing some pretty fancy stuff. And a lot of the stuff in the Pilates, in the classical work, as we get stronger and more coordinated, requires a lot more work of the arms in the back. So what we're doing on this armchair is we're learning that sensation because the spring is feeding our arms into our back as we get taller on the base of that armchair. So these are simply just what we call arm circles. So let's go the other direction. And again, I want you to watch your elbows because I'm really good at locking out those elbows. And you want to feel that long wrist. So the springs give you that little bit of resistance when you're coming around and a little bit of assistance to keep reminding you to keep those arms connected into your back. Now, Jayne did some rowing. Now, if you don't have your reformer, and I saw in the chat that someone doesn't have their reformer, get on the floor and use those hand weights or on the armchair, and we're going to practice the same concept of rowing here on the armchair. So we're going to reach forward, kind of on a diagonal. As you lower the arms, you have the feedback of that armchair to lift you taller. We are going to bring our arms up. Now, when you're bringing them up, you're growing taller and you press your legs into that chair and then you're pressing straight down. Okay, this is a super great place, very stable, to teach yourself the rowing if you're not familiar with it on the armchair, because there's not that moving carriage. So we'll do our third one. Out, lower to get taller, lift the arms, but don't sink in your middle section. And at the top, turn the arms, feel your back into the back of the board and grow taller as your arms return. So we call that rowing 3, okay? Or you might know it as rowing from the chest. Now we're going to go into rowing 4. this is where it gets exciting. This chair back actually moves a little, okay? So we're going to move with the back of the armchair, just like we did on the reformer with Jayne. Instead of the carriage moving, now we have the back of the chair moving. So don't be, it's okay if it moves with you. You want it to go with you. Let's start with our arms down here. You are going to reach forward. The armchair comes with you. As you come back up into that tall back, you're pulling your stomach into the board. As you return the chair, whoa, I better get a grip there. I got a little out of control. Let's try that again. And we're going to go forward, keeping those arms connected deep down into the lowest part of the back. As we curl back up, we feel our back on that chair getting taller. The chair has returned and we grow. Okay, one more time. Reach forward. Again, if you don't have an armchair, you can certainly do this seated, and then have that feedback of the wall to feel how your stomach is connecting up into the body and around. Okay, I just want to put a little bit of a note here. On the Contrology, there is a board that comes out and it can go into a deeper sort of back position. So you can play around with opening the chest more. And some people, like myself, really need that because I'm really tight in the chest. So just know that your armchair gives you kind of two options to work with. Let's take it now into the fifth rowing that Jayne did. And we call that shaving, okay? So from here, your hand weights are either here or your springs. Reach your arms up, overhead, and we go into this position where the thumb and the fingers are together and the elbows are going wide as you're growing taller. Okay, so that's the shave. And then we're going to come to the hug and we're going to go out. Sorry, that would be in. That's the other out. And then out and in and out. Now, the cool thing about the armchair, if you're coming around, you can feel whether the arm is coming off the back. So if you don't have an armchair, you're going to have to keep a little bit more of an eye on your arms, how they're connected to the back. That's the great thing about having an armchair. It feeds the body using the spring upright into the chair. Okay, now we saw some twisting happening when Jayne was working her snake and twist. And oh, sorry, also the stomach massage twist. There is also the twisting part if in the pull-ups that Nicole didn't do, but there is that. So we don't get a chance to do too much twisting there. It's in the system, but we're going to do it on here if you are starting to work your snake and twist to get that rib cage to get lubed up. We call this one the butterfly. So again, bring your arms out to the side. You can easily do this against the wall with those arm weights. As you bring one arm up and over, you are taking your spine around with you, but don't peel your arm off your back. It's hard to teach and do at the same time, but you get the drift. Here we go. And then we're going to go around to the other side. And just imagine that I'm on that reformer and I'm twisting my body like Jayne did in her snake and twist, okay? So this is an excellent place to practice that twist part in the twist and snake, and you're not having to control the reformer in one spring, because Jayne was doing that on one spring, and it's pretty difficult. And that is the butterfly. Now, we didn't get a chance to do much single stuff, like single arm stuff. And this is a great place to practice doing one arm at a time, okay? Also, on the reformer, you may have practiced your sidearm series work, or it's been known as Swakati. I am way too slight of a woman to even do that on the Contrology. So I always do this on this apparatus, and maybe if you have a chance, try doing the sidearm series on an armchair if you get a chance, and you'll see what a difference. You don't feel like you're totally struggling. And I'm very small, so I kind of reserve that for the stronger people. So the foot position. You again want to take your legs. So I like this position. I feel more squared in my hips. You have another option. You can bring your legs like this. I kind of have some stuff in my, my pelvis, so I feel like it's just a little bit funky on my hips. So I like to have one foot in front. So you might take this foot position where you feel like your hips are square. You're going to take, I'll just lower this guy down. You're going to take your spring, and I'm only going to do a few of the Swakati set. I like this one because Jay's watching, and I never forget what he says with the sidearm pull. You got to pull from this part. So here we go. Either get your handle from your armchair or your weight, and you're going to pull across the body and reach. This is such a great place to practice conditioning both sides of your body for those big exercises that you saw Jayne do, the breaststroke she did, snake and twist, all those ones that require. She did that reverse the combo on the long stretch. And then Nicole did the flying eagle and the pull-ups. And I have had a previous injury in my shoulder in doing something else than Pilates. And this has really helped me to kind of condition it back equally in both sides of my body. All right, turn your body and go to this side now, so you can see the side of my body. I'll have my back to you a bit, but you can hear my voice. Again, I have my hips squared. I'm a little tinier, so I kind of like to put my arm here. I do know some people put it right about here. Can they see that? Okay, good. So here we go. And pulling across the body, of course, leading with that back of the arm. Again, for me, and you might have this too, is I like to power through my elbow, but that's really not where it is. Oh, golly, that's really tough. Here we go. Again, if you don't have an armchair, you can do this kneeling with your hand weights. Very good. Keep your back wide. The fun part about the springs is you got to resist and you got to hold that. And Jayne did a great job when she did her pull straps in the T and returning that carriage. She has to kind of keep with that spring. You don't want to let it to just spring back. Cool. So this is the armchair. So we are gonna do a set change. Here we go. Now, my camera gal is gonna show you that this is quite tall. If you've trained on other manufacturers, see how small I am? Like it's way up there. But I just love the way the tension of the spring is. Even though it's tall, I thought, oh, this is gonna be crazy for me. It's not bad, honestly, and I'm only about 5'2". I do add another clip. So if you have struggled with your Ped-o-Pul and you are not staying connected to your back, try adding another clip. If you don't have a Ped-o-Pul, gang, use your arm weights, go against the wall and follow me, okay? If you don't have hand weights, don't worry about it. All right, coming into the centering. So Bring your arms to the side. Legs are together and the pole is up tall against your back or the wall. You're going to first press down, just like Jayne did in the teeth, and return. We'll do that 3 times. Can you center Carmen in the screen? While I'm doing centering, it will happen. Just wait for it. No, I'm just kidding. Yes, she'll center me. There you go. And now from here, we're going to take it into that squatting down. So again, this is called centering. And it's exactly that. It's trying to get our body centered and balanced. The arms will now carry that spring. And that's where, don't let your stuff fall apart and come back up. Press down, lower, reach up. Keep it under control. All that good work we did on that armchair for both sides of the arms, on that side arm stuff, will work out marvelously here. Down and up. We're going to reverse and pull down the body. The arms finish it. And then we come up, grow taller, resist as you return your arm springs or hand weight. Down we go. Pull. Feel that length against the pole as you center your body, lifting back up through those arms. Oh my gosh, I am so tired. And I didn't even do what Jayne and Nicole did. Wow, if you do all of what those girls do and what I'm doing, woo, you're gonna have a workout. Okay, I've got one. Do we have time for one more, Anna? One more? Okay.
Yeah.
This one I didn't do on the armchair. I reserved it for the Ped-o-Pul because I did learn this specifically more so with Jay. And it's the boxing. Okay, now I showed you how tall this was. So can you imagine how much back and arm strength that I've got to remain to keep that here? Otherwise, I'm up here, right? So you're going to pull, get your arms back like right into here. Now, you're going to box. Pick something out there that you're going to box and get it going. Woo. There we go. And as I get a little tired, I can see my arms are they're traveling up. And back up and out to the side. Is that good, Anna? Or
Great
should we
job.
do more? We're good?
That's great. I think that's great. Thank you so much. So let's get back to our view. If we could see all of our amazing friends, panelists, we call them presenters, and the crew. I do have some questions that are coming in. So let me just start. I'm going to start at the top with you, Jayne, because at the beginning in your workout, clearly you were on the Contrology reformer and you spoke to that you said, I really feel the short spine. I think you said on this Contrology reformer. Yeah, make sure you unmute. You can all unmute yourselves at this point. So the question is, I know that you work for Equinox Fitness Clubs in the UK. And for those of you that don't know what Equinox is, it's a luxury gym line that we have in the US and also now in Canada and the UK. And they have different brands of equipment. So you don't need to mention names, but I wonder if you could speak to the difference of the Contrology reformer or the Contrology experience based on what you have taught on at those clubs.
Okay, so I think the main difference is on the Contrology reformer. I think the foot bar is lower, so it helps me to feel my center more when I'm doing work with my feet on the bar and my arms on the bar. And then also when I was doing short spine as well, the angle of the straps pulls me further over, so I really get the stretch that I need in my back. And I have to use my center to resist those springs. So that's two of them. And then I think the other one is, I think the pull of the straps feels different. It just feels like I really have to connect to my center on my back to even move the carriage. So it's a real, yeah, it's hard, but it's really taught me a lot. So that's yeah. Does that answer your question?
It does, and I'm going to ask Jay if you'd like to add any color to that foot bar angle and how that may speak to the workout.
I think Jayne covered it. A lot of this is very, very subtle. I mean, if you look at the reformer next to another one, you may not even see any difference. But when you get on there, the body reacts to it immediately. I mean, it's hard to believe that something that tiny can make such a difference, but put a pebble like that in your shoe. See what the body does. I mean, it's going to react immediately, the whole body. It's just a little thing. And it's the same kind of thing where it's a tiny change or variation, but it can affect the entire body.
Thank you. Ken, could you speak to the foot angle? I understand it took a while to get that angle just right.
It did. And it took a while to get it just right. I was just thinking when Jay was talking, it just reminded me of when he was here and Karen was here, and Sandy was here, and we and I was still trying to understand what they were asking for and trying to build what they were looking for and stuff. And I just remember one time we just experimented with a slightly different type of hook on the end of a strap. And one of the machines had one hook, the other machines had two other types of hooks that were the same. And all three of them knew what machine had a slightly different hook. And without even knowing what they were looking for, or even knowing the difference, they could just feel the difference between that machine. And it just kind of shocked me because they really could tell the difference between all these things and these little subtleties and how much difference they made. And their bodies were so well tuned that they could understand it. I couldn't understand it. I just had to believe it. But it worked out. The reformer worked out really, really well.
Yes, it has. Jayne, I want to ask you something else, and I know the answer, but when you were doing knee stretches, you did a good job about speaking how you should drive your heels into the shoulder blocks, and there were a few other instances when you spoke to that. Can you speak to, in the knee stretches, how the foot feels against that shoulder block, being that there is foam missing underneath the upholstery by design, right? So it's a different angle, and how does that feel for you?
Sure, yeah, it really makes I feel a big stretch in my feet and in my ankles, and I sometimes feel my feet really need that. And yeah, it feels like I really have to press my heels into the shoulder blocks, and in that way it connects into my lower body and into my center, because I have to really work to get my heels in that shoulder block. So yeah, it's hard, but it makes you work.
So the reformer makes you work really hard. Like Jay has said before, the reformer teaches you, right? The teacher has to do less work because the reformer teaches you everything. I have a question, Jay, for you, Jay, about the tempo of Jayne's workout. So a few viewers commented it was a little quick. And again, as a lesson or someone following, maybe it was a little fast. However, if she's just doing her own workout, what do you think of that tempo? She's not leading someone, she's just working out. Yeah.
I'll tell you, I have a lot of things to say to that. She was talking fast. She wasn't moving that fast.
Okay.
And I think everyone should, when you get the video, watch the video without the sound.
Yeah.
And you'll think she's going half as fast as she was.
Okay.
Because she was explaining so much as she went. I was kind of in awe of how she could do some of those exercises and still be explaining it at the same time. I'd been so out of breath. But I think that's a big part of it, is that because there was so much happening. And again, she was talking so fast. I didn't know you could talk that fast, Jayne. That it made the whole thing seem much faster. But every exercise has its own rhythm, and they fit together in a rhythm. Now, you don't ever want to be rushing where you lose control. It's contrology. It's all about control. So you have to move at a speed that you can control. But it's movement that changes the body. It's movement that heals the body. So you got to move. You can't lie there and think it's going to happen miraculously. It's not going to be perfect. I keep telling my teachers, get used to bad. You're going to see a lot of it. People have a right to be bad. We all are. We all were at one point. You've got to start where you are. So it might look bad, but eventually it will get better. But it will only get better if you move. It won't get better if you just lie there. So I think as I said, I mean, yeah, everybody's going to find, some people may find their internal rhythm that makes them want to work a little faster, a little slower. But ideally, for Joe, you should have been able to do the entire reformer. Now, Jayne didn't do the whole thing. She did it quite a bit, but there's still quite a bit more. You should be able to do the entire repertoire of reformer exercises in maximum of an hour. So I know a lot of people that can't get through half of it in an hour. But I mean, obviously you have to know where you're going and what you're doing. You don't do this your first lesson or even your first year. It takes years to get to a point where you can get that kind of a flow. But that's part of your goal. But this is also why Pilates is a lifetime of study, to try to achieve all of these things. It should look effortless. You should just be like there's like just nothing. Yeah. And that's hard, but that's all part of the control. So don't rush where you're losing control, but don't put somebody to sleep either. You really you have to keep some kind of tempo going, and don't worry about perfect. You're not going to be perfect. Not now, not 10 years from now, not 50 years from now. You're not going to be perfect. You'll be better, but you won't be perfect. So forget about perfection and just enjoy it.
Well said. Thank you very much. I also think to some extent, though, there are days that you, Jay, continuing, keeping a flow and a connection, you might just want to move a little slower and a little more thoughtfully than other days when you just really need a dynamic, vigorous workout. Wouldn't you say that that's the case? As long as you're connecting and keeping the control?
I say get over it.
Okay.
It sounds a little self-indulgent. Those are the days when you should really work to, if you're going to let your mood or today's like, no. That's when you started the whole downward thing.
Gotcha. Let's see. There's some. Okay. So a question to whomever, well, I guess Jayne and Jay could speak to this. It has to do with the reformer. Someone said, I noticed the straps on the reformer were quite low, rubbing against the side. Is there a reason for that? So again, it might be someone speaking to used to working with risers and ropes. And in this instance, there are casters and wheels and the leather straps are fastened at a particular angle.
Right.
I think certain exercises, they're always going to rub. If you're doing the pull straps.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't see it as any big deal.
Right.
It just has to do with the what's the word I want? Come on, Anna, help me.
Where Ken can help us. Has to do with the physics of it, the geometry. So Ken, actually, would you speak to the straps? I know we've talked about this before, but why are our straps different? Our leather straps are special how?
Well, the big difference between our leather straps is that they're actually pre-stretched and then they're treated so that they're already really supple when you get them. And so they shouldn't stretch as much as most other straps because we've already done that to them. That doesn't say that they won't stretch at all; they just won't stretch as much. But I think the point that the viewer was talking about was the angle of the straps and how they can rub on the shoulders. Actually every kind of exercise equipment that's out there's no free lunch. So if you're going to have the right angle and the right pull, most of the time there's going to be some times when it's not going to be perfect. And even though the angle is right, there's that one point where the shoulders just get in the way. And that's, as Jay said, that's just a fact of life. And so it's just something you need to watch out for. And it's just going to happen unless your legs are slightly farther apart or you don't go down as low.
Ken, can also, am I correct in saying that the 80-inch reformer straps is one piece of leather each? Big cows?
Yes. Yeah. The what happens is on most people, most deformers, you see the straps are spliced. They're and the reason for that is that the cows only kind of come in one size. They don't get too much bigger, and the straps need to be bigger than that. So on the 80-inch reformers, the straps are the shortest, and they can fit on one piece of leather. But on all the other reformers, they need to be spliced. And so one of the other things that we do on ours is that we make sure the splice is not a part of the strap that doesn't roll over the wheel. And that way you get a much smoother ride on the strap, and you don't get this part where all of a sudden the strap stretches and it doesn't stretch. It just stays consistent.
And actually speaking to the fact that, yes, they may stretch over time. They won't stretch as much as another strap that isn't pre-treated. It is quite simple, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, to adjust your straps on the Contrology reformer.
Right.
So no extra holes have to be made, nothing like that, right?
Yeah, there's just an adjustment under the carriage where the strap attaches, and there's a longer eye bolt, and it's got a wing nut on it. And all you have to do is actually loosen the eye bolt, loosen the wing nut, tighten the eye bolt. It shortens the strap, and then you can tighten the basically not an eye bolt, it's a wing nut. Tighten the wing nut, and then you're good to go.
Super, super. I have a question about the wedge, and I guess this question is for Jay, or maybe Carmen can speak to it as well. So in the armchair, Contrology has made a wedge that could be used on the seat portion of the chair in order to keep the knees level for when you're doing Swakati, for example, right? The side arm or the single arm exercises. Carmen was great about putting one leg forward and making like a lunge position, which was able to keep her hips level. But I know that some people like to use the wedge. Are there other exercises where any of you think that the wedge may be used on the armchair, or would only be the single arm sideways exercise?
I didn't even know there was a way. I'm going to be
No
honest.
flash.
I never trained with one. It's not in my studio. Hey, you got to talk about that, because
No, I'm not a fan of it. I mean, that's something. Joe never had anything like that. That's a recent thing.
yeah.
And I'm not really a fan of it. I like the position that Carmen was using, because it's enough of a challenge, but it's possible. It's not an impossible position, but it's enough of a challenge, and I like that position, which we used to do. Some people would do the Swakati with both knees on the seat, and they would just
Hike a
fight,
hip.
yeah, they would just fight the alignment till they got it. You know, it's just a little extra challenge, but no, we never had that. And I said, was not a big fan of it.
Karen, do you want to shed any insight or anything, any thoughts on the wedge?
I don't believe in making things easier.
I actually don't think that this would be one of our events unless I got some crap over something. So I think no. The purpose of the wedge was just to keep people's knees even, and that's what we use it for. And I actually don't think there's any other kind of use that there is for it.
Right. So it does work. It's there. It's available. Okay. Are there any other questions, Shannon, you want to pipe my way? Oh, yeah, there is a question. Big news drum roll. The Contrology reformer with tower release date. I'm going to let Ken share that with the world. When is that coming?
It's been rolling a little bit, actually. So, and actually, I just know it's coming up really fast. It's going to be in November. I just remember the exact day in November. And so, Shannon, you better type that number in really quick. Because
it is November 1. It's November 1st.
November 1.
Okay. I just thought our CEO might know, but that's okay. He's got a lot on his plate. November 1st is the release of the Contrology reformer with tower. And so we're excited to have that available for you guys very, very soon. Any last questions or any comments that our presenters want to, anything you would like to share? I'm going to see if any other questions come through here, but in the meantime, our presenters. Jayne's still awake. This is good.
Just
10
about.
o'clock at night. Awesome. Well, great job. I think that's it for today. I want to thank our amazing presenters for joining us and for the support of those viewing now or viewing at the recording. We really appreciate your support. Again, I'm the brand ambassador for Contrology. So by all means, feel free to reach out to me. It's anna.caban@pilates.com. If you have any questions about the line, you can follow us, of course, on Instagram, contrology.bb. And please don't forget, I've already done it, guys. I've already tagged the Contrology crew on Instagram. So you can always use the hashtag Contrology crew as you share your photos, videos, and whatever of the event. So we'll have more events in the future. Stay tuned and have a wonderful weekend. And thank you all participants, presenters for being a part of this with us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks,
Bye.
Carmen. Thanks,
Bye.
Nicole. Thanks, Jay. Thanks,
Thank
Ann.
you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Jay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Take care of yourselves.
You too.